My name is Perez-Viera, and I'm currently studying my MBA with a concentration in management. Studying the BMA program, he really sold that to me. It was like, you can study performance and you can study business. And that's something I wanted to be able to do. I wanted to combine both of my passions. I just fell in love with learning and performing and just picking up an instrument and making something out of nothing. I fell in love with the process of always wanting to get better and chasing that. Studying music in a city like Chicago, especially at Roosevelt, I mean, we're a block away from Symphony Hall. You can listen to the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. You can listen to the lyric opera. There's so much opportunities to listen. There's so many opportunities to perform. There's so many opportunities to connect with people. I mean, just being in such a hub of other artists, it's inspiring to be surrounded by that, and it makes you want to keep going. It makes you want to keep getting better. And I don't think I would have the same experience in a smaller city or anywhere else. Art and being in music, I mean, for me in band and orchestra, is a time to spend time with others, I mean, socializing. I had opportunities to stay after school, and it just was something I couldn't see my life not having anymore. I needed music.